Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Power of Business's celebration of Small Business Week. I'm Steve Hadcock, Senior Resource Educator with Cornell Cooperative Extension. Joining me today is Dominique DeVito and Carlo DeVito, co-owners of Hudson-Chatham Winery. Welcome, Dominique and Carlo.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your business.
Well, we run a 3,000 case winery here in the Hudson Valley. We grow our own grapes. We buy grapes from other fellow farmers, and all our wines are made from New York fruit products. And we sell them at the winery, and we're in about 50 accounts between Saratoga and New York City.
And we bought the property in 2006, and we planted our first 1,000 vines back then. So we are coming up on celebrating our 8th year.
8th year.
Wow.
Here in Columbia County.
Time flies when you're having fun. Tell us a little bit about your business.
Well, we run a 3,000 case winery here in the Hudson Valley. We grow our own grapes. We buy grapes from other fellow farmers, and all our wines are
we're hearing
made
ourselves
from
again.
New York fruit products, and we sell them at the winery. And we're in
Steve,
about.
do you have the broadcast open
We bought the property.
on your computer somewhere? You need to mute the broadcast on your computer.
Okay.
If you
Apologize.
can find where that video is going. Maybe you want to just close everything except for the Hangout window.
Yeah, I apologize. That was what happened. Okay, we're good.
All right. Go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
That's okay. Still learning. So actually, we've known each other for that length of time as well. And in getting to know you, I'm just curious as know that you do have an entrepreneurial style or spirit. And so I'm just curious, though, I never really asked you, why did you choose a winery?
Stupidity. That's the best answer I can give. I was always interested in winemaking and wine. I had grown up in the publishing business, but I did a lot of books on wine, food, wine, beers, and spirits, and it's a part of what I do. So it's an extension of my day job. And I think one of the most amazing things about starting your own business is that, especially if you start out working for other people, is that you have a job when you work for somebody else's business. But when you have your own business, you're everything. You're the laborer, you're the assistant, you're the trafficking manager, you're the accountant, you're the CEO. It's a lot more hats, and there's a lot more that goes to it than just going to a 9-to-5 job.
Right, exactly.
No, I think that's why a winery. We are both always interested in wine, and Carlo said even beyond the publishing business, we both have Mediterranean backgrounds, French and Italian, and we sort of grew up with it, and it was one of the things that was part of our relationship from the beginning. So we just took our interest in wine and visiting wineries to the next level of the business.
Okay. So with that in mind, though, since you have transferred from being an employee to an owner now, and as you said, we're wearing a lot of different hats, what challenges do you experience or unexpected things that you might have happened along the way?
I think the challenges are certainly just to keep everything going and to stay on top of everything. We have the interesting thing about a winery business is that it's an agricultural business, a retail business, and a business all in one. So there's just a lot to keep up on. The agricultural part is really interesting to us because we did not have an agricultural background, but it's fascinating and really satisfying. What else would you like to add?
I think that money is one of the biggest issues you face. The management of your money, cash flow, and learning to work with your suppliers so that you're always current with your bills. Keeping up on your receipts, knowing who owes you, and what are the limits of those relationships when you need to collect that cash. It's all a delicate dance, and it's something that requires a lot of effort and husbanding. There's no question about it that's one of the biggest issues that any small business faces, and I think it's no different in the wine business, maybe more so.
And you have to learn all of those different things. So you need to you kind of can't let one of them go. You have to figure it out and learn it and try to manage it.
Right. Since you brought it up, that finances is important. Can you give people who aren't necessarily familiar with winemaking and so on, is it a capital-intensive business?
Oh yeah, yes. First, you need to plant grapes, or at least buy grapes, and so that can be an expensive process. It takes 4 years for vines to come to fruition. So you plant, and you know that you're not really going to get your first vintage out of that till the 4th year, and then that wine doesn't come out till the 5th year. So you've got to do something in between then. So we bought a lot of grapes from as many local sources as we could, so that we could start our business up and running as quickly as possible, put it in on a paying basis. On the other side of that, there's you've got a lot of different things you need to keep in front of you. There's equipment like tanks and barrels, tractor,
bottles,
sprayers, yeah, bottling machine, pumps, hoses. There's those bottles. There's a lot
barrels.
in there. So it's so there is
Staff.
there's staff. So it is capital intensive, but on the other side of it, marking up your product properly is another really important thing. A lot of people undermark their product, and then their business isn't on a paying basis. So one of the things we learned after this, I think the 2nd or 3rd year, was that we needed to increase some of our prices, because we were definitely way cheaper than what it was costing us to make them. So those are some of the things that we definitely learned along the way.
And that's true with a lot of beginning businesses, that they are so compelled to get any kind of income that they basically will set their price point at what they feel is a competitive or low rate.
Yeah, and I have to say, I was very guilty of not valuing my own time, and I know a lot of other people are the same way. Well, I can do it cheaper, but really you can't, because there's 1,000 things you're supposed to be doing. So you have to figure out ways to. You can't not pay yourself. It's a real fast way to go out of business. You have to learn how to pay yourself, and if that means bumping up your price, then that's what you need to do. But it's a really important issue.
Absolutely. So what do you think are some of your successes then?
Well, Dom, we were having that conversation earlier today, and we have a difference of opinion, but it's always good, right? Dom was very proud of our Seyval Blanc. This is our estate white Block 1 North Creek Vineyard. This is our baby. We planted these grapes on Dominique's birthday the first year we bought the property, and we're making our estate Seyval Blanc out of that.
That's huge.
And that's a big thing.
The vines start as
very
little
proud.
sticks, and next thing you know, you've got grapes.
Yeah, it's a long process, and this year we'll be having our first estate red, which we're very happy about. And when you plant these little sticks in the ground, and it looks like Mars with a bunch of sticks going on it, you really have no idea if it's going to work or not. And it's it's a faith in nature and history. But so those are one thing, and then I'm very proud. We've been covered in the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the New York Post, Wine Enthusiast, Wine Spectator, Snooze, the Edible magazine. So I'm really proud of the recognition that we've received for the work that we've done and the product we've put out. It's one of our goals is to put out the highest quality product that we can. That's our big thing. We're never going to become the biggest winery in the valley, not even close. They spill more wine than we make. But our goal is to produce some of the best wines in the valley, and we think we're starting to get there.
Right. I frequently sample, so I would think you are doing a good job.
Thank you.
What
about you, Dom?
I would agree. I think the Estate Seyval Blanc is definitely an accomplishment. It was pretty great to get that first harvest from our own vineyard, and to go to put your wines out there and have people tell you how much they like them. That's what it's all about, really. People. I guess one of the things that surprised me, because we had a little more familiarity with New York State wines and the quality that's coming out of New York State, but it's great to get people in the tasting room, especially in Columbia County. We were the first winery in Columbia County, so there's a curiosity factor to that too, and people come in with all kinds of expectations and all different levels of knowledge of and appreciation for wine, which is great. That's what we're about. So it's very satisfying to get people to come into the tasting room and try the wines and go, wow, I really like all of these wines. I can't say that I knew what to expect or had any expectations, but I think that's hugely satisfying. And it's great to just educate people about New York State wines in general. And a lot of the grapes that we work with are hybrid varietals, so we're not working so much with Cabernet Sauvignon or Chardonnay, or even though we do offer some of those grapes, but those are vinifera that we also enjoy. But we work with hybrid grapes because they grow better at our spot, and they make some really wonderful wines. Like this is a wine we call River's Edge, which has 2 hybrid grapes in it, that really surprises people and is very enjoyable and delicious.
And we've brought back a lot of grapes that people are familiar with, like Chalois. This is made with Bourdain. We bring back a lot of heirloom grapes that people aren't familiar with, so that's a big thing for us.
Good. So, I mean, we got a couple seconds here. If you want to just highlight how, because being farmers as well as winemakers, there's a lot of risks involved. What do you do, or what, or if anything, can you do to, like, if there is a freeze or whatever? What kind of things can you do to help mitigate risk, or can you mitigate risk?
Well, that's one of the reasons we grow hybrids, is because we're really afraid of the late frosts here. So a hybrid has 2 or 3, has a primary, a secondary, and a tertiary bud. And so if we get a frost, like if we get a frost this week, which would be devastating, our plants have secondary and tertiary buds. So we would still have a crop. It would be much less and not as good a quality. It would still be good quality, but it would not be the same quality as you have with your first growth. That's one of the reasons why we choose some of the hybrids and the heirloom varieties that we have, is because they have that ability. A lot of the vinifera are not going to have that, so you lose, and that's it, you lose. And there were several parts of the state that took a big hit with the frost this year.
Okay.
I think with any business, you risk is part of the game. So you have to have a pretty tough mindset with it, and just and be able to go with the flow, because there are things that come up all the time that you would never have expected, and you just have to deal with them when they come up, and get a good mattress so that you can get a good night's sleep.
Okay, we do have one question. How do you initially set prices, and how do you do it today?
We initially set prices trying to create product that we thought would fit into the marketplace in a really good way. For example, $10.95 seemed to be the sweet spot in the marketplace, and so our initial offerings of our less expensive wines, we put in that price point with the standard industry discount to make sure that we fit in a really good way. About halfway through, we realized with some of our better wines, A, we made a very small amount of them, and B, they were flying out of the door, and after we were analyzing, we weren't making enough money, so we started to increase prices on certain products that are, unique to us. For example, we do Chalois, which is a really lovely grape. The Culinary Institute of America takes half the run.
Wow.
And we sell out the rest in about 2 to 3 weeks. It's gone. So, and it's, it's a fair number of cases, but it's that popular a wine. So we realized we weren't making as much money on that bottle of wine as we were on some of the cheaper stuff. So we needed to increase some of our prices there, and it takes a year or two to sort of adjust your pricing to figure some of that out. But I would have to say, I think that part of our plan worked, and I think part of our plan we gave away some money. But right now I think we're in a much better place than we were, say, 3 years ago.
Excellent, excellent. So thank you, Dominique and Carlo, for joining us today and sharing some of your great ideas. Tomorrow, Christine Paracco from Fat Toad Farm will be sharing tips on how to use social media to promote your business. And then to round out the week, meeting of entrepreneurs in 15 minutes, we have George Johnson from George Paul Vinegar. George will share ideas on how to seek out assistance to successfully operate a business. The Power of Business is a multi-state land-grant university effort to assist rural business owners to network and learn from each other. Thank you for joining us today, and enjoy the rest of your day.